Welcome back, guys. Proto Bro here, infamous brother to Mega Bro, and we just took out Guangxi. So now we're going to shift forces and hit this coast here. This time I'm going to actually do it right. I'm not going to be like a complete incompetent idiot like I was previously, and try and use transport boats for an assault. If you recall, last time we tried this, we were just sitting in the ocean for months, not doing anything, and I was like, what is going on? Why is this taking so long? And then I realized that, oh, I should be using assault vessels for assaults. Go figure. What a surprise. Anyways, as you can see up here, we're about done cutting off these guys, slowly pushing them into a single province. Yeah, I'm not sure how many divisions I took out there, but, oh, nice, our mountain guys are done. These mountain divisions are awesome for mountainous terrain combat. They make a huge difference, actually. I'd say like your normal infantry units, they suck in the mountains, and I mean it makes sense, right? But light infantry and mountain divisions are great in the mountains, so we'll definitely put those guys to use. I'm gonna go move these little leadership brigades, and then also the battle commander down here. Probably attach a battle commander to one of these mountainous divisions. And then right now, normally what you want to do is you want to go for, so I'm not really looking at skill number here. I'm looking at more like the number of traits that these guys have. Usually when you're attaching leaders to your divisions, you want to go with traits first, and then take the guys with the higher leadership points, or the leadership skill there, and attach them to like core or hold on, I'm a little distracted here. Core or army, or army group. I for some reason forgot to put commanders in these divisions, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Alright. So as you notice, every time you attach leaders to your divisions, they lose organization. That's why it's important to do it kind of as soon as possible. That way, once you're ready to put your divisions into the fight, their organization's fully up there. So, organization being green, the total strength of your force or your division being orange, and so forth. Domination, domination. The zoomed in view always looks so cool. The problem is I can't figure out who the heck's who when I do it. That's why I'm always zoomed out. See that light infantry division that has the slash red along the bottom right there? And then that mountainous division had the slash yellow, right there. That just basically means that the yellow means he's having some trouble getting supplies that he needs. The red means he's either low or out of supply and will be unable to move until such time as he gets supplies. So that's kind of going back to that point I made about it being very important to make sure your front is nice and wide, and that you're hitting provinces that have a decent infrastructure so that you can maintain that positive supply coming in through your army. Alright, so we're going to do this right this time. So that assault ship flotilla can carry 2 divisions, which is great. So I'm going to use those 2 Marines to start this invasion, and then follow it up with the army to help secure the beachhead. I think I'm gonna fast forward through here a little bit. Just 'cause I think it's gonna take me a few seconds here to just get this all sorted out. You know, I think I could probably, yeah. There we go. All right, cool. Yeah, I don't want to bring the garrison. Okay. All right, so those guys are gonna follow up the Marines. And then what I'll do is once I'm done up in the north there annihilating that force, I'm actually not going to push south. I mean, I certainly could, but I'm going to take these. It's better safe than sorry. I like the whole Roman legion concept, which is you really condense your forces and then you just come down on your enemy like a hammer. So I want to make sure that I have enough divisions down there on the coast to keep pushing once I land. I don't want to get bogged down. And there's really nothing. Okay. Oh, that's right. So this is one of the technologies in Black Ice. You can tech up for mountain HQs. So right here under command. Where is it at? Oh, okay. Let's see. That's cool. But so there, you can build like so many mountain, or rather so many HQ core that are specific to a particular kind of warfare. And it's basically the way they limit it is, you know, you can only build within your, you know, the year that you're in. So right now I'm at 38, the mountain division, the next tech is 38. So once we build that, we'll probably have to wait another year or two before we could build another mountain core. And I think it just provides a little bit of a perk to that. I don't think it's too huge. Look at that. That's so much faster. That was awesome. That was like lightning fast. I don't even, do I have my, yeah, I don't even have my army here yet. That's how fast we did that. Wow. Alright, let's get these guys over here. So when done properly, apparently amphibious assaults do work in this game. I would point out, though, that we did not land on one of the ports. So we gotta move in here quick. Because see how these guys are yellow? They're cut off from supply. So we gotta... Usually every division has 30 days worth of supplies. So we've just gotta be able to be sure to seize that port and get a supply line going within 30 days. Otherwise we'll be in real big trouble. So those guys there who are creeping in on our little foothold down there probably start shifting now to the coast. Alright. Sometimes I change the name of these guys just so I can figure out who the heck's who. So I can see this is 23. I see the 23. Normally I'm going to associate that with an actual infantry division, but now when I see it, all these notes, it's a mountain. And I mean, like, you know, you could rename every single division and really customize your army if you wanted. That just takes forever. So I am not going to do that. Let's see, right. Yeah, let's rename these guys too. Yet again, another mountain division I didn't know was a mountain division. Alright, I know you guys want to see some combat. I get it. Almost there. Stay on target. Stay on target. Let's see. Alright, I'm going to fast forward. Be right back. Alright, and we're back. Okay, so I didn't do much. I was just kind of screwing with my technologies and then figuring out who the heck I wanted to land over here. So, okay, so let's do this. We're going to rebase. We took the port with our Marines, so we're going to rebase, plunk our entire army here at the naval port, which is a little concerning that I have that one port to basically feed my entire army, but I think we'll rectify that very quickly. We'll seize that other port there and then kind of push out from there. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. So now we're going to put these guys to war. Again, the theory being I've landed on the coast, so now he's going to shift all his guys up to the coast. And then I'm going to force him to choose between throwing all his guys into the coast, throwing most of his guys against Shaanxi and Communist China, or splitting it, which is I think he'll do. He'll probably split it in half. Once Guangxi down there at the bottom, at the south there, the ones I just conquered, once they get all their divisions back to the other side of their border where they're safe, I may have them join Call to Arms as well. So I don't really expect my allies to do a whole lot of damage. It's more or less just to distract the Chinese and force them to split their forces. What you're going to see me do here is, this is where I think cavalry is really helpful. Like again, like you're not going to use your cavalry for combat. At least you probably shouldn't. But what they're really awesome for is securing a front for you and kind of holding that front until reinforcements can arrive. So they're not going to be able to hold it for very long, but they can get out in front, seize a particular province. Like here, you know, I'm taking these provinces that have forts in them, and hopefully they'll get there before the enemy, which then means one, you know, the enemy, I'm not fighting an enemy who has fortresses, but then two, even though I may not get the benefit from the forts, because normally once you seize them, they need to build back up for purposes of repair. You know, you're holding the enemy off, and you can kind of get your reinforcements up and establish that front. So, highly encourage you to use cavalry, or in the case of like the Germans, you know, mechanized or tanks. I think, you know, you use some cavalry for the Germans as well, but it makes more sense with the Japanese just because of the terrain. See, I don't know why it does that. I think there's like a bug in the game, because I'm not going to lose 56,000 supply in 4 days. That's insane. That'll, yeah, I don't know what's going on. That's not going to happen. Whatever. Alright, so these guys should be, you know what, that's probably what it is. I think it's these guys over here. I'm, once they join the war, I am now bringing their forces up to mobilization levels, so maybe I'm feeding them. Seems legit. Whatever. So let's just to be safe, make sure I'm not completely on crack here. I'm just gonna, alright, yeah. I think we'll be okay though. I think that'll reset itself in after a day or two. Buy a mercenary units. Sure. How much are these guys? That's okay. I think we're good right now. So again, I think the reason why, yep, see, there we go. Our supply is back up to green already. I think it went down to 9,000 because we were just providing supplies to our allies. And then you combine that with the fact that we just landed on a new beachhead, had to send a bunch of supplies to that port to provide our new beachhead with 30 days worth of supplies. That's probably where all the supply came from. That's why, in my opinion, it's highly important to maintain a high level of supply at all times. You know, I think 56,000 is pretty ridiculous. That's kind of my bad for not managing it better. But, I mean, you want 15, 20,000 in my opinion. Just because for those instances like that where, you know, it says, hey, we're going to take 9,000 in a day. Like, I don't have 9,000. Alright, so I'm going to take these Marines out, and then we're going to hit a couple other ports while I do my thing with the army. Now, in all honesty, we would have done this like, what, 6 months ago if I hadn't been a complete doofus and done it wrong, but it worked out because we got Guangxi out of it. So who knows what would have been had we just stuck with our original plan. This guy appears to be in a pain. He just won't die. Just die, dude. It's not that big of a deal. Come on. You know you want to die. Alright, so we get that one guy surrounded. That's cool. He's just a militia, it's no big deal, but... Nanjing is our objective there. That's currently the capital. Seize that, that'll force his capital back. Should do some damage to his national unity and morale. By the way, if you haven't figured it out by now, if you do transport, it'll ferry the troops to that particular destination, drop them off, and then the transport will actually return to where it's based out of, or basically where it left port. So in this case, it's going to go back to my main island there once it drops off the troops. He completely was not ready for this because there's really like no opposition right now. This is great. You know, maybe if I had landed 6 months ago, there would actually have been a resistance. But I think because of Guangxi and then our attack up here north, he wasn't ready for the coastal landing. So yeah, these guys are gone. He's gonna be dead, obliterated. And then what I'll do is I'll cross the river, take all my troops, cross the river back our side there, and then ferry them back down to the coast to join that assault. And don't worry, I mean, right now we're not going to stick with just this little area here. I'm going to hit all the ports here on the coast, including those northern ones there. Basically northeast China. I just want to wait until I get my troops there up in the north before I spread out my front a little too much. I want to take out that airport so he doesn't have that, whatever, I don't know if they're fighters or bombers or what they are, but push him out of there. All right, so I'm gonna start moving these guys out, get them down there into the other front. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna take a quick break here. All I'm gonna do is load up a bunch of these divisions onto the troop transports here, shift them down the coast, and get them involved in the next assault. I'm thinking what I'll probably do is I'll keep some of them in reserve. That way when I land my Marine divisions at some of these other ports, I can actually use these guys to secure those beachheads and push out. The goal being is that I want essentially the entire coast, all the ports along it seized, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push out secure beachheads that essentially connect via land all of those ports and then push out from there. So I'm going to take the capital, probably hold that momentarily, and then shift the front a little more north along the coast there, seizing some of those resources and strategic resources. So that's what we'll have on the next video. Again, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your guys' time. Please, please, please like, subscribe. Subscribing lets us know that you're watching. And again, if you have any comments, questions, throw them in the comments section. A lot of times what I like to do is I take those comments and I actually create tutorials out of them. So if you see something you're really curious about, I'll go ahead and do that. And with that, I will see you guys later. Thanks.